What if I told you that one of Kenya's most adored content creator couples, the ones that everyone thought had the perfect love story, have been hiding secrets so dark, so shocking, that their fans are only now starting to connect the dots? Forget the sweet breakup statements that you saw online, because behind those polished Instagram captions lies a trail of vanishing YouTube channels, whispered financial battles, disappearing furniture, and a child caught up in the middle of a crumbling empire. Moureen Ngigi and Commentator did not just split up. Their entire carefully crafted brand is unraveling before our eyes, and the truth might be way uglier than anyone imagined. Stay locked in, because what I'm about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about this so-called perfect couple. What? The breakup announcement between Moureen Ngigi and Commentator shocked thousands, but the real story might be far more disturbing than anyone imagined. Stay with me, because I'm about to reveal these, and it is going to completely change how you see their relationship. Just days ago, social media exploded when Moureen Ngigi and Commentator announced their separation. On the surface, it seemed very amicable enough. They posted joint statements, thanked their fans, and even asked for privacy during this difficult time. But here's what they didn't tell you. And what eagle-eyed fans have been uncovering piece by piece. The cracks in their perfect facade run much deeper than a simple "we grew apart" narrative. We're talking about mysterious disappearing acts, alleged financial disputes, and behavior patterns that some fans claim they saw coming from miles away. This isn't just another celebrity breakup story. This is about how two people built an empire on the foundation of their relationship, only to watch it crumble in ways that nobody really expected. Before we even dive into these shocking revelations, let me give you some context about just how massive this couple was in Kenya content creation space. Moureen Ngigi and Commentator were not just dating, but they were a brand. Their YouTube channels combined had hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They had sponsorship deals, merchandise lines, and most importantly, they had built their entire public identity around being the perfect young couple navigating marriage and parenthood. But here is exactly where things start getting interesting and frankly quite disturbing. The first major red flag that fans noticed wasn't in any announcement or social media post. It was what wasn't there anymore. Picture this scenario. You wake up one morning, go to check on your favorite YouTube channel, and it's completely gone, vanished, and disappeared. Not just the new videos missing, but the entire channel vanished without explanation. And that is exactly what happened to fans of Commentator and Moureen Ngigi's joint podcast called Kwa Kina Ndoa. This wasn't just any channel. This was their marriage and relationship advice show, where they positioned themselves as experts on love and commitment. The sudden disappearance sent fans into a frenzy. Was it a technical error? Had YouTube taken it down for some violation? Or was this a deliberate move by the couple to erase evidence of their relationship advice now that their own marriage was falling apart? The timing was very suspicious, happening right around the same period when rumors about their relationship troubles were beginning to surface. What made this even more bizarre was that the channel eventually reappeared. What made this even more bizarre is that the channel disappeared with no explanation from either Commentator or Moureen Ngigi about what had exactly happened. Multiple sources began reporting that Commentator had moved out of the home he shared with Moureen Ngigi and their child, and now breakups happen and couples separate. But what allegedly happened next is what has fans genuinely concerned and very heartbroken. Screenshots have begun circulating on social media, showing what appears to be Moureen Ngigi posting various household items for sale online. We are not talking about spring cleaning here. According to these unverified reports, she is selling significant items like their dining table and, most shockingly, their baby boy's cot. Let that sink in for a moment. If these reports are accurate, we are looking at someone who isn't just ending a relationship, but completely dismantling the physical reminders of the life she built with her partner. The dining table where they probably shared countless meals, made videos and discussed their future. The baby's cot that represented their hopes and dreams for their family. This isn't just about furniture, this is about the complete erasure of a shared life, and it suggests a level of finality and possibly bitterness that goes far beyond from the amicable separation they presented to the public. It paints a picture of someone who wants to remove every trace of their former partner from their living space. But here is what makes this even more complex. If commentator did indeed move out and Moureen is left dealing with the financial burden of their shared home, selling furniture might not be about anger or spite, it might also be about survival. Content creators, despite their public success, don't always have the most stable income. If partnerships' revenue suddenly get cut in half, selling belongings might be a practical necessity rather than an emotional decision, or better off, maybe she is trying to do away with these things so that she can also move out of the house which is full of their memories and planning to move on into maybe another place. However, the way fans are interpreting these actions tells us that something more important about how this couple's relationship was perceived from the outside. The fact that people immediately assumed the worst suggests that there was already underlying concerns about the health of this particular relationship. This exactly brings us to what might be the most controversial aspect of this entire situation, and it's something that has been brewing in the comment section of their videos for years. A significant portion of their fanbase had long held the belief that Moureen Ngigi was too young for the responsibilities and commitment of marriage. This wasn't just casual observation, this was a persistent narrative that followed the couple throughout their content creation journey. Age gap relationships always invite scrutiny, but in this case, the criticism went beyond just numbers. Fans began pointing to specific instances in their videos where they felt like Moureen Ngigi's behavior toward commentator was inappropriate, disrespectful, and quite immature. The most frequently cited examples came from their prank videos. Now prank content is incredibly popular on YouTube, and couples pranking each other is practically a genre unto itself. But according to longtime viewers, there was something different about Moureen's pranks on commentator. They weren't just harmless jokes, they often seemed to mean spirited or designed to embarrass him in front of the audience. Fans would comment things like this: "She doesn't respect him," or "You can see he's uncomfortable but trying to laugh it off." These were not just isolated comments, they were consistent themes that appeared under multiple videos over extended periods. What's particularly interesting is how these exact fans are now claiming they saw this coming. They are pointing to the moments in old videos where commentator looked genuinely hurt or uncomfortable after certain pranks were pulled on him, or comments from Moureen. They're analyzing his body language, his facial expressions, and his responses as evidence. That's all what not well in, and evidence that all was not well in paradise. The reality is probably somewhere in the middle. Relationships, especially young relationships, involve a lot of learning and growing. What might look like disrespect to an outside observer could be a couple's normal way of interacting, but the persistence of these observations suggests that something about their dynamic made viewers very uncomfortable. What makes this analysis even more complex is the cultural context. In many traditional settings, there are specific expectations about how wives should treat their husbands, especially in public. Some of this criticism, redirected at Moureen, might be rooted in these cultural expectations rather than genuine concerns for their relationship health. But here is what we can't ignore. When a relationship ends and fans immediately say, "We saw it coming," it suggests that the public persona these creators were maintaining wasn't entirely authentic or genuine. It means there were cracks, showing that they either could or couldn't address. The question becomes even more: were Moureen Ngigi and commentator aware that their audience was picking up on these issues? Did they read the comments questioning their compatibility? Did they see the concerns about their age difference and maturity levels? And if they did, how did that affect their relationship dynamics? Content creators often face a unique pressure that most couples don't experience. Their relationship isn't just personal, it's their business model. Breakup doesn't just mean losing a partner, it means potentially losing income, audience, and career opportunities. And this financial pressure can force couples to stay together longer than they might otherwise, or it can create additional stress that accelerates relationship breakdown. In Moureen and commentator's case, their entire brand was built around their relationship. Their advice podcast, their couple content, their sponsorship deals, everything depended on them being together and happy. This creates an incredible incentive to present a perfect image even when things are falling apart privately. The temporary disappearance of their podcast channel starts to make more sense in this context. How do you continue giving relationship advice when your own relationship is falling apart? How do you maintain credibility with your audience when you're living a lie? This brings up a broader questions about the responsibility that relationship influencers have to their audience. When people build careers and on relationship advice and couple goals content, what happens when their own relationship fail? Do they owe their audience transparency, or do they have the right to maintain privacy? The Moureen Ngigi and commentator situation serves a cautionary tale about the intersection of personal relationships and public careers. It highlights the unique pressures faced by content creators who monetize their private lives and the potential consequences when those lives don't match the image being told to audience. As fans continue to piece this together, the real story behind this breakup, one thing becomes clear: the perfect relationship that thousands of people invested in emotionally was far more complex and troubled than anyone was willing to admit publicly. Whatever this was, a case of young people growing apart naturally or something more problematic remains to be seen, but the evidence suggests that the fairy tale ending many hoped for was never really possible. The next chapter in both of the individual stories will likely determine whether they can rebuild their careers and personal lives after such a public failure for their audience. This breakup serves a reminder that social media perfection is often just that, a carefully constructed illusion that can crumble when reality intrudes.